All right. Welcome, folks. Happy Wednesday. And my goodness, can you believe it's October? I know I sound like an old man saying that, but dadgummit, it's the truth. Wow. Where's the years go? Where's the months go? So if you're just tuning in for the first time and you don't know me, I'm Mike Ashabraner, professionally known as the Redneck Connecktor and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And you are tuning in to I'm joking. That was my other show. We have a special treat for you guys today, man. If a lot of you already know that we love to promote kindness worldwide, and they have an upcoming documentary. We've been teasing you for a couple months, but guess what, folks? It's about time, and in the perfect time because guess what? Kindness Week is coming up as well. So we have the one and only Elgin Cahill, and we also have one of the biggest brains behind the kindness movement that got this thing started and got Kevin out doing what he does, Michael Binko. So before we get started, folks, let me throw this out here. I got a postcard from Japan. Yeah, I feel pretty good now. And that is from our friend, dear friend, and hound, April Wyatt. Tomo tour in Japan. She used to live there, and it was phenomenal. So I've been on her about dripping out some videos and content from that. But anybody who wants to get on the early bird, she has one in Bali, folks. All right. So coming up next year, got plenty of time, but no time like now. All right. Go find out, make plans, book it, and never hear nothing but amazing things from this, y'all. Seriously. The transformation is unbelievable, and she makes this look easy too. I'm like, man, I can't even go to the gas station. She's going to Japan and Bali and pulling it off. So thank you, April. Thank you for the postcard and the impact that you're making with professionals and people that need it. All right. So you won't be sorry, folks. She also does a monthly meditation session. And if you're a busy professional with a lot of stress, probably everybody watching, tune into that. It's not woo-woo. It's smart. All right. Get yourself grounded. So, and by the way, in case anybody's still wondering and you missed it, I took time off 2 weeks ago. Then I got sick. So I'm not going to blame the time off for being sick. But we had a lot of fun. And if anybody out there is just grinding away, I know it's hard not to do sometimes when you're building a business, folks. But take time away. Creative brain, recharge. It's not my default either, but go do it. All right. Have that more harmony in life. And it'll actually increase your business life. All right. So there's the PBS special for you today. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to bring these two guys on because this movement is absolutely catching fire even more than it was. And there's case studies, there's proof. This is not just a feel-good movement. This is making things happen from local governments to businesses and communities all across the globe, folks. So we're going to give you some more sneak peeks about the upcoming documentary, talk to the director himself, and then pick the brain of Michael Binko. All right, he's going to be leading the charge and growing this even more. So thank you all for tuning in. Be right back.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Ashabraner, the Redneck Connecktor. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
Well, let's bring these amazing people up here. Let's start with Elgin Cahill. All right, award-winning director. You've been in many. You've done a lot of documentaries, and people know you in the industry, my friend. How are you today?
Mike, I'm outstanding, and thank you so much for having us back on. We really appreciate you.
Oh, my pleasure, my friend. You're a man of few words, but when you talk, it's impactful. So we're really excited. Anybody remembers Elgin from last time? Chiming in. Great guy. And let's bring him up. Michael Binko, who I recently just had the pleasure, long overdue, to get to meet. And you're Kevin's brother-in-law too, right?
Yes, sir. Well, Michael, it's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So let's get started. We've all heard Kevin, and then we heard my redneck rendition of how Kindness Worldwide got started. So if you take a few minutes, folks may not be familiar or they haven't heard your side yet. So bring it up because don't forget the part I mentioned backstage. Right? When you said, wait a minute, there's something here. So go ahead and take it from here, my friend.
Yeah. So Kindness Worldwide was something that I guess had to happen, right? And you've had Kevin on, and he sold his side of the why. a random act of kindness affected Kevin Smith in very personal ways and deep ways that he was not prepared for. For those who don't know the story, his wife, my sister, sent him on a honey-do list to the grocery store, which is not Kevin's preferred modus operandi on the weekend. It happened to be for my daughter who had a birthday coming up to go get, I don't know if it was candles or cupcakes and a gift card. And Kevin was checking out of the local grocery store, happy that he got his job accomplished, left his wallet there by the checkout stand and went home. And no more than a couple minutes later, he wasn't even able to close the garage door. Two young women pulled up. One of them went and rang the doorbell, flashing his wallet, and blew Kevin's mind. He's like, people still do these kind things, and it kind of jostled his brain and took him in a whole new direction on his outlook on life. And, when you say one moment can kind of make a difference, this is an example of that. Are you muted, Mike? There he is.
No, my mom impression. I've done this before, right? My first name easy. But I was just saying, I like both versions of it. Right? Kevin's version, my version is he lost his wallet one good Friday morning. It looked like he lost his mind, right? Because the man, he runs big business. He doesn't, it's not something that he just would ever do on purpose. So, it's just one of those things. And we always talk about, the character of somebody, values. It was just that's who he is. I mean, he really cares that much. When I probably would have been like, well, whatever, like, thank you, send a postcard. Not Kevin. Kevin's got to go and make sure that, people know and they're appreciated. And thank God he did, because, hey, look what's happening. Kindness Worldwide movement. And so on that note, before we jump into the trailer and talk to Elgin about it, for you and your perspective, why you got involved, because it's a family thing, but you didn't have to go this far. So what was it about that act of kindness that made you realize it wasn't just a moment, it was a spark?
Yeah, so it was certainly the act of kindness. In this environment, it's not typically expected these days, right? When it happens, you kind of pause and you kind of like, oh, wow, I wish that happened more. What really got me was, 3-4 months after this act of kindness, when Kevin had really doggedly attempted to find out who this young lady was, found out who she was, really tried to get the TV coverage at scale to thank her properly, got a local news channel to cover it, and it was an awesome story. And then I guess the national group Inside Edition reached out and said, hey, we want to take this national, and it just didn't happen. So Kevin was like, oh, man, I was almost there. I almost got her what she needed as a big thank you. And, come to find out, I'm visiting again over the holidays in the fall. And Kevin shares that, like, for the last 3 months, he's been writing this, treatise on this endeavor, right? And it's 40 pages. And I picked it up and I'm reading it there, over happy hour. And I'm like, I get not even halfway through it, Mike. And I'm like, Kevin, do you realize what you have here is an ecosystem model? And that's something I'm involved with on a different front: entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation. And, I know we're going to get into that conversation, so maybe I'll leave it there. But I told him, I said, Kevin, this is an ecosystem model. It's a startup. You're an entrepreneur. What better product to bring to market than kindness and a celebration of a kind act and storytelling behind that? And, I think he told it better than anybody, but that was the beginning of the run up to what is now a nonprofit endeavoring to bring kindness to communities on a worldwide stage.
Yeah. Fantastic story. Just like me being off mute this time. It's fantastic, right? But I'm going to ask you, and then we're going to go to Elgin, because I love when Kevin told me, he said, Michael picked up the papers and is like, hey, you got a sustainable model here. And he's like, what? And that's not to be glossed over. So many times people tell you or people hey, you should write that book. And you're like, well, whatever, or you should do this thing or that thing, or you should be a documentary movie director like Elgin. And you're like, I got to pay the bills. I don't know who I am. And then all of a sudden, one person says, hey, 100 people could have told you that, but you were that one person that he went, okay, let me entertain that. And that's miraculous, isn't it? But when you get around birds of a feather, that's what happens. I didn't just pop up and do this. I had people tell me, and I had more faith in them than I did in myself. Right. And they encouraged me. And that's what I mean. And that's really the tempo of kindness. Right. You're going to be persuaded or influenced by something. Might as well be intentional and make kindness part of that banner, if not the banner. And we'll get into this, folks. So if you're thinking this is just a feel-good Care Bear stuff, it's absolutely proven to change the way governments operate. Its property rates went up, crime rates went down at unified departments, right? SCPA in York, Pennsylvania, man, they proved it. So you don't have to say, well, that won't work. Now you either got to say we're on board with it, or we're just going to keep doing stuff inefficiently, right? Like it's a proven model.
That was the other aspect of that moment where I kind of said, Kevin, you have the opportunity to bring a venture to market, right? And I was just for giggles on Network Solutions checking domain names, and he's like, oh well, we'll do a big kind of celebration in York, Pennsylvania, his hometown. And I was like, Kevin, that's great, but you know what domain's available? kindnessworldwide.org. You need to do a nonprofit, and we're moving way beyond York, Pennsylvania. And he was like, oh my God, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, he's thinking, I got a family, I got a big business to run. Like, what is this? Like, where am I going to find the time for this? I can only imagine what was going through his head. But on that note, though, why do you believe the world was ready for this message now? Because you had a lot of faith in this, it sounds like, before maybe he did fully, and you were kind of the cheerleader of this. So why do you think it was ready now?
So, and we'll dig into this as much as you want to, Mike, but you know this as much as I do, because you and the Hounds live this in your own lives, just like Kevin, maybe discovered it a little later in his professional career, is that, entrepreneurship. And I loved your Hound doing the Bali excursion, like live with intention. You said intentional early on, like what we call ecosystem is usually the coalition of the intentional, right? If you want to have folks roll up the sleeves, pick up a flag and charge up a hill and claim that ground, it's not likely to happen in business, in faith, in family. It takes initiative and intention to make something stick and scale. And when I looked at it, the ecosystem building that I'm used to for the last 20 years is entrepreneurship, number one, that's prime, and then venture building, and my version of that is typically tilted in the direction of technology and innovation. And you can't just say, hey, I'm going to get this startup off the ground. You've got to grind. You got to grind and be intentional about it, and patience be damned. We got to go.
Yeah. No, and that's see, where were you when I was in college, man? Like, this is the kind of professor I needed.
Elgin. With the same stuff you were in college.
Yeah, they just read. Most of them just read stuff and they didn't do it. But you're doing things, you understand it, and this is proof positive. So, Elgin, I tell you what. Let me ask you this question. We're going to show a clip from Miss Pennsylvania, right? Like, this thing is really rocking, and she's amazing. So we'll show that clip. We'll talk to you, and then we'll show the actual trailer. How about that, y'all? Audience, you ready for that? Great. Sound good? All right. And I see April down there. That's the intention lady. That was the Tomo. So thank you, April. All right. So let's see. I'll find the buttons. Let's do it. Well, I told you I'd ask you the question again. There you go. So why do you believe the world was ready for this message now? Because you have a lot of things to do, right? You're in the game. You'll know what has legs, Elgin. You know what doesn't. So it meant a lot to us and me, and it probably made people pay attention when you said, hey, I'm going to take this on. So why now? Why this mission, and why are you on board?
I think, well, first of all, there hasn't been a year that I can remember where I haven't been talking with either Michael or Kevin or anyone in my close circle of confidants where we haven't said something like, this world needs this now more than ever before. Something like this now more than ever before in terms of either this specific documentary or just some form of kindness in general. And not to go too far off on a tangent, but from a documentary filmmaker standpoint, everyone has a story. Some are more compelling and interesting than others, honestly. And, documentary filmmaking 101 is no one wants to hear about the second most challenging day of your protagonist's life. And obviously the protagonist in this case is Kevin. And one of the things, just from a storytelling standpoint, that really drew me to this, from the standpoint of this could really have legs as a movie, as a feature film that people would sit down and really absorb and connect with, was the sort of the reluctant hero aspect of Kevin. And anyone who knows him, anyone who's spent, more than 2 minutes talking to him, this wasn't an agenda. This wasn't a goal, or even, this was a calling. This was a true calling. And there were times when he tried to ignore it, or he tried to push it aside, or do something else instead, and he just could not. So the fact that this, from the beginning, was just, to anyone who's interacted with him, this was far bigger than him. Always. It always was. It was never about him, and it was always far bigger than him, and it was for everyone. Anyone and everyone who would hear this message. And Binko, your domain name, Kindness Worldwide, that says it all, because that's where it's going and that's where it needs to go. So from that's what really, kind of informed me that this needed to be done, and needed to be done. To use an expression that I like to use, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. So we decided we were going to do it, and within months we went around the world and back, and just started telling this story. And another thing that I sort of insisted on, just again from a filmmaking standpoint of, it's a great story, but in order for people to sit through it and to hear it and to get the message of it, it's got to have an emotional connection. So we just started pulling that thread, first with the people most integral to the story, and that began with Brooke and Kevin, the young woman who returned his wallet to begin with. And my concern was we were going to have to dig deep for related stories that were part of this journey that had that emotional connection. And boy, I can't get through what I've seen this more times than anyone else combined, and I can't get through it with a dry eye ever. It's the emotional connection is there. So I'm very proud of it, and I know it's going to resonate with anyone with a heart and a soul is going to really connect with this.
Well said, my friend. Elite business care bears. That's what I call all the ambassadors and people around kindness. Like when you see the caliber, not just the success, I mean, that's important, but when you see the genuine nature of how they care about other people, they truly do. Now they help people when they're in need. Right? And when I see people who are busy taking time out and making time for this, it's real, right? It's at least a pause to go, hey, let me check this out, right? And it's an honor. It's really an honor to have the hounds and then you guys, because we all share those values, and we're living in a huge trust deficit, like the national debt size trust deficit. And this is a real, not just a catchphrase movement. This is real impact, real people, and real things happening. So before I dive into it, let me show. I'll show the Miss Pennsylvania. And then I'll just go ahead and show the trailer. And then Elgin will come to you because we want to get your perspective. And then Michael will chop it up with Elgin about the business aspect, because you guys pulled in anything you can think of, right? Communities, artists, musicians. I mean, there's no spot where someone who shares this heart, they got a spot here. There's no question about it, right? So let's do that.
One person absolutely can change the world through a simple act of kindness. We see it every day, whether it's making somebody else's day feel better and then that person goes on and does something better for someone else. A ripple effect is something that can be both catastrophic and world-changing. When you do something for someone else, you then therefore inspire them to do the same for the next person that they meet. So something as simple as saying hello, offering a smile, doing something like handing somebody back their wallet when they've lost it can really have just a massive impact both on yourself, making you feel good, and those around you. I am a Northeastern Pennsylvania native, so to know that such a giant movement is starting right here in York, PA is absolutely massive. We always say in the Miss America opportunity that your story started somewhere, that the road to something bigger starts where you're from. So to know that I'm standing in the very city where I was crowned Miss Pennsylvania and my journey to the Miss America stage started, and knowing that I get to be a part of a movement that is so aligned with my mission to make the world a better place by making the world a kinder place is just something that is so inspirational, not only to me, but I think to people all over the world.
Okay, Elgin, I was going to skip straight into the other one, but it feels like somebody's cutting onions in here, man. So do you want to elaborate? Because this is just a little bitty teaser of the huge, the full-blown documentary. But that's very powerful. First of all, she's down to earth. I really like her, and she's amazing. So anything you want to add to, your perspective of that portion of it?
Victoria she's the real deal. What you see and what you hear is exactly who she is. She's all about kindness. She's all about building other people up. And she is just one of the many examples of the folks that came along with us in the journey of making this film. Who, we didn't have to talk anybody into anything. All we had to do was, Kevin told him the story. Just and you know him. He's all heart. He's all heart. He opened his heart and just shared, and it's like a magnet. It really is. And she was thrilled to join us, to become an ambassador. And she we filmed that segment at the York Revolution Wellspan Park, where they play baseball during a Pack the Park for Kindness event. And she spent the rest of the day going around the park with us, meeting with children, with adults, with posing with little girls. I mean, she's just as you can imagine, just the perfect role model for a lot of those kids. And we have these kindness cards, and she was handing those out, and they have different messages on them, and they all encourage you to see the good in others, and to pay it forward, and to take that kindness card and give it to someone else along your journey, and spread kindness. So yeah, she's just a perfect example of one of the wonderful people who joined us along the way.
And she's not doing that just to promo because she's on the circuit. She actually enjoys it. Like that was her element, loving, spending time with the kids, and it's just who she is. And that's what this movement is for. It's not trying to be something you're not. It's just not. Now you're tapping into it being intentional.
Right. Yeah. And she was, and she had no reason to help us other than she just, she saw some kindred spirits and some common threads of kindness. This was right before the Miss America pageant, so I promise you, she had much better things to do.
Yeah,
she was busy, but she took the time to spread kindness and to learn more, and now she's an official ambassador for the movement. And again, just an example of the way this is. The one act of kindness, the returning of Kevin's wallet, was really just a small ripple that has it's become a wave, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And there are lots of other Victorias out there, and we're finding them, they're finding us, and it's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah, and things like this, it's not. Again, it's good for visibility, but this is genuine. Like anytime an ambassador comes in or someone does something good, I mean, it happens a lot, so we might miss one or two, but Kevin and his team are very intentional about giving it out there. It's all about putting the spotlight on other people. And you already know that's what we're all about, right? People expect me to say I'm great. They don't expect hundreds and thousands of super pros of all walks of life and reputation to say you're great. You can't manufacture that. Nobody's going to, falsify that. And we're not going to buy that if it ain't true, right? So I just want to make sure people get it. I mean, we had, I always get the numbers, the letters backwards, SCPA, SPCA.
There you go.
There it is, one of those. And, it was amazing to see how they were just really coming up with real solutions. And you mentioned the kindness card. If you haven't seen the previous video, go to our YouTube, Hounds of Business, shameless plug. And we have the commissioner, Michael Muldrow. He's over there, and we're showing videos of them signing kindness citations. So police are coming in, giving people, kindness tickets, man. It's unbelievable, right? And this wasn't the case before, to say the least. And so it's really exciting to see this small movement be proven and then grow like wildfire, outside of this. Because every day we say it's needed now more than ever. Tomorrow it's even more true, right? Every day we move forward, this becomes even a bigger deal. So I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to go ahead and get this trailer. Y'all ready? Don't be shy in the comments.
Ready.
I appreciate y'all being here. Ask
Let's
questions,
do it, Mike.
too. Let's do it.
Every moment matters. Every interaction is an opportunity to be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. The universe has its ways of manifesting magic at a time of its choosing. That time was 9:57 a.m. on Good Friday morning, 2023. For such a time as this is the endearing story of two strangers whose lives were forever changed through fate and circumstances, and a simple act of kindness. One act of kindness was the ripple to become a wave that will touch and uplift the hearts of all. A mere desire to say thank you in a more meaningful way became an adventure of a lifetime, and so much more. Pathways miraculously opened to make a meaningful difference and turn a moment into a movement to change the world through kindness and inspire kindness worldwide. With passion and purpose, and an unwavering belief in the heart of a community, all is possible when you believe in the I'm possible. If something so magical can happen in one community, it can happen anywhere and everywhere. For such a time as this is our story. It's proof that no act of kindness is too small to make a difference and change a life, and that anyone can make a lasting impact and even change the world through kind actions. Why not us? Why not now? We invite you to write the future chapters of our story with us. This is our moment. This is our time. Believe the goodness. See the magic. Be the reason for the miracle to come. The pen is now ours to write the most beautiful chapters yet.
Together we'll stand. With love we create a ripple effect, hand in hand. We stand.
God, dog, these onions are bad today. Oh,
I mean, if you're not fired up after that, I mean, Elgin, you talk about being humble, but just look at the art that is the story that is unfolding. And for someone to capture it at an intimate and intentional level, as we've been talking about. I mean, I stood behind Elgin behind the camera on several of the shoot takes that we did in different locations, and just, tireless, always positive, really, not giving anybody, well, he's smiling over there, but not giving any of the, cast any doubt about how they're presenting their own story. And that intentional storytelling is absolutely critical. But it's an art.
Yeah, it blows my little camo hat off my head, man. Like, how do you capture this so well? I cannot wait to see the documentary. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. I seriously can't wait to watch this. I love documentaries in general, but this one, and to be a part of this on the ground level. I met Kevin almost a year ago, right? I was all full of dreams, so was he. And look what happened in just one simple year. Look how we pushed each other up and elevated. It's back and forth. It's win-win to the nth degree. So Elgin, let's go off of that a little bit. Without giving too much away, right? This may sound obvious, but what can viewers expect to feel when they see this documentary? What are they going to take away? What's going to resonate inside of them?
All right, we have Elgin.
Uh-oh. Either that, he's playing a Halloween prank on us. You think that's it?
He's being coy.
Uh-oh. Oh no, Elgin.
He's gonna come back on.
Okay. Maybe it's like Beetle. It's Halloween season.
Elgin
Elgin Cahill. Elgin Cahill. It didn't work. Well, wait a minute.
We'll get him.
I'm looking for him. Hold on. All right.
We'll get him.
Well, let's go to you. Michael, the film touches everything from faith and resilience to leadership and love, right? So how did you guys weave all of these themes into one cohesive story?
It is what Elgin accomplished is it boggles my mind because I know how many good nuggets of story elements there were. And, there were some shoots where Elgin and the cast, the characters were hours in the chair telling very personal and emotional perspectives on how kindness touched them or how they were involved in something that not just like Kevin kind of changed their perspective or actually their life. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how Elgin, it is an art. It is a side of the brain that I do not have.
Me neither.
Give me a financial spreadsheet and some talking points, and marketing is about as much as I can do with a little bit of creativity. But it really is something special. And I'll say, if you're not prepared to find something relatable and emotional, don't come to the screening if you don't want to experience that, because it's a fire you up type of emotion.
Oh, and no doubt.
Contemplative too. You're going to think about this for a little bit after you see it.
And I would imagine it's not something to just fade away. Like, oh, that was nice. And then we just go back to being unkind or anything. Like, we're going to be wanting to do more. And to me, it's being a part of something that's not just weird or a fad. It's like, hey, this is a something that unifies, a lot of people together. And real quick, Elgin Cahill. Holy cow, it worked.
Hey, look at that.
Oh,
our Beetlejuice moment.
Oh, no. Is it happening again? Oh, that's the joys of a live show, folks.
Well, we have had some major internet bugaboos hitting some of the big carriers, so we'll chalk it up to that.
Well, that's all right. He'll come back. He's going to keep coming. This is his time, right? He's worked way too hard. Do you have any idea how many hours was put in this? Because it sounds like hundreds.
Oh my God, Mike. It's been, it was over better part of 9 months. And I was in several shoots where they were full day segments and into the evening, like Kevin and Elgin dinner after shooting already for 4 hours. And then they weren't done for another 4 hours after we all ate dinner. So, that gives you an indication of the commitment that, obviously Kevin, but, Elgin as a director to kind of stay with the storytelling that deep, right? To go, 8-9 hours in with, getting that right moment to capture the story is phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely. Elgin, can you hear us? No, he's still trying to weave in and out. But while he's doing that, quick things. I want to give. I'm going to go with you. Talk about. Oh, are you there? Oh man, he's having country.
He's got a feed that's coming and going
here.
There you go.
I wonder if it might be something, Elgin, if you just have your microphone and not try to do the video and see if you can save some bandwidth.
Yeah, you could drop the video.
See if you can hear us better.
It'll be down there at the bottom. He's used to being behind the camera. Now he's on front of the camera. but he can do it all. He's smooth.
Oh, looks like we got him live now.
There we go. Sorry about that.
There he is.
No worries, man. Thank you for hanging in there. So we were just talking about this, from the filmmaker's point of view. So thank God you came back. But from that point of view, what makes kindness, again, such a powerful visual language? And how many hours have you guys put into this, if you can tell us? Because it seems like hundreds.
It's a lot. I mean, first of all, kindness, it's just a universal, it's a universal concept. It's again. You guys hear me okay? Yeah.
It comes and goes, Elgin.
It does. Try to jump in.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm back for good here. But just the concept of kindness, if you just to draw a quick parallel with politics today, no one wants to talk about it. And it seems like there's like a big division, but it's not. There's not a big division. There's a very small division. There's some loud voices on either side. Most of us in the middle want the same things, need the same things, and all want to move in the same direction. And kindness is like that. I mean, there are some people out there who just, maybe you're choosing to have a bad day or just whatever the case is, you're just not on the same wavelength with most of the rest of us at that moment. But it's our job, all of our job, to get even those back into the fold with us, and to not kill them with kindness, but just shower them with kindness. And to answer the other question of how many hours did it take to make this, a lot of them.
You didn't count them all, huh? You didn't count them by the minutes, no abacus.
I've done a bunch of feature films, and most of them are narrative, where you've got a script and a story that's already written. And those are easy. You have all the answers in front of you in the script. With a documentary, it's the exact opposite. We go in looking for, we have maybe a little bit of a preconceived notion when we go into an interview. And I always find out that even if I was close, I wasn't quite there. So we always learn something. There's always more to the story. And then, we gather up those stories and we look at the different parts of them and find out how they interconnect, and how they all drive the other stories together. And, there's a compelling way to put it together, and it's our job to find that as filmmakers. And that it just takes the work. You just have to shoot it, record it, look at it again. And then it's like putting together a puzzle without the lid for the box. We don't know what the picture is going to be when we're done. But it's what's exciting is the closer we get to being done, the more we can sort of start to see the big picture, and we get to like those last couple of breakthrough cuts where it just takes on a new life of its own, and we know we're almost there. And this was no exception, for sure.
It doesn't sound like it's just another job to you. Sounds like you really caught the bug, right? That's a good thing, right? You already had the bug, but it probably made it worse. Right? The kindness bug.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I've been doing this for a long time now, and I don't do a lot of documentaries. I do mostly narrative features. They're easier. They take less bandwidth and energy, and they're just not as intense. But like Victoria, Miss Pennsylvania, like the other people that you'll see in the film, I was one of those people who, when I met Kevin, I was like, wow, this guy, I could tell it was a calling that he had. This was something that he was, wasn't his story. He was shepherding the process, and he just had to get it done. And I knew that he couldn't do it by himself, and this part needed to be done. And if I could do it, then I had to do it. Had to get behind him and do what I could to get it across the finish line.
And I will, I'll chime in here, Mike, and what Elgin just said there is like, Kevin was the shepherd, Elgin, you were the Sherpa of this story. Like the key message that you Sherpa'd to a point of discovery, right, and manifest was no simple task, and no way to cut it. But we're thankful that you rolled up the sleeves and got into this mission with us. I will say Elgin and his partners at Kindness Factor International, when we talk about intention, heart-centered, and storytelling, these are the guys that do it. Like, that's how we met them. Like, they were already telling stories of kindness. And, just like you, Mike, Elia, Elgin, and Randy, the three principals of the Kindness Factor International, are ambassadors of the movement, have been there literally since probably week one, or the first time we Kevin posted widely on LinkedIn, I think, is when we met Randy. And, they are key members of this story because they've rolled up the sleeves and become as intentional as you have, Mike. And, when we say ecosystem, some people are like, oh, ecosystem. Yeah, everybody's using that term now. And I'm like, when I talk about this, Mike, kind of in the lead in is like, yeah, everybody's coming to it, but they came to it because there's a lot of groundwork that went into, like, how do you make it sustainable, resilient, relatable, right? And, I kind of want to turn it back to you, Mike, a little bit, because, I haven't had a chance to dose in with you on your segment with the hounds, and I'm delighted to run with the hounds here, my friend, and I look forward to running in a lot of directions with your folks. But I mean, your ecosystem is equally as intentional, heart-centered, scaling, and resilient. And I know, turn back on you. Like, can you share some moments where I know, Elgin touched on it, but I saw Kevin, as a family member and personally, like, at moments where he was, uncertain if this was the right thing for him to engage on, right? Chime in the chat there, hounds. Has anyone felt that way in their struggle? And honestly, entrepreneurs, we call it the loneliest job for a reason, right? In those early idea and bootstrap stages, you are gung ho and ambitious, and you want to change the world, right? And you got a way you think you could do that. Then you get out and kind of do your customer discovery and your engagement, or a lean canvas model, or whatever you call it. And then you kind of get punched in the gut because somebody says, oh, there's 5 people already doing that. Why are you out here? What makes you so special? Why now? Right.
Oh, yeah.
Then you get to the point where, okay, I got to resource this thing. So is my model I started with the one I'm staying with, or do I need to make a pivot or engage folks who know better than I do how to take it to market? Right. The thing I say in the book I've never written is, as entrepreneurs, know what you know, but know what you don't know, and surround yourself with people who do, right? And I think a step in this journey, the one trait that I think Kevin has demonstrated is that and it's difficult to balance this. Any entrepreneur will say this. You have this gumption and ambition to bring your opportunity forward, but you've also got to be humble enough to take a step back and say, I'm not expert at that, and I need people to help me do this. And I think telling this story at the level that Elgin did, like, we found the right person. He rolled up his sleeves, heart-centered, and intentional about doing it in the right way. And I think that's going to inure to the benefit of other people. Will find ways to relate to this that we could have never found a pathway without the storytelling that Elgin did.
No, and we haven't got a chance to chop it up. So the short answer to that, because you're dead on about all of it. The loneliness, everything, and then the discovery. But I didn't set out to start the hounds to build their business community. You want to know the God's honest truth? I think Elgin might remember this. You remember how Chris Rock jokes about Mark Zuckerberg saying that he made Facebook because he didn't have any friends?
Yeah.
That's exactly why the hell I created the hounds business. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just tired of doing stuff that didn't fit me, right? Everybody's telling me to bash my square peg in a round hole, telling a dog to meow. And if you want to be successful in business, you have to be this way. And I tried it for a long time, too many times. So I just went out there and just got tired of being by myself, wanted to explore, and was pretty much sick and tired of being sick and tired and giving up. So it wasn't like I set out to pioneer this. So we started the hounds by accident, but we did not evolve it by accident. It is not what it is today. And long story short, you hit this, and I'm going to affirm it. It was other people plugged the holes in my boat. I was a boat like Swiss cheese. Like, could you imagine floating on a boat with holes in it, like a machine gun hit it? That was me. Well, as I started going out there, being vulnerable, speaking from the heart, dropping all that, corporate nuance stuff I thought I had to be, and all this stuff. That's when the vulnerability attracted people like Tanya Eberhardt, like Dr. Constance Leland, and to this day, I know there's a lot of noise out there that says you can't be relational and all of this and kumbaya and build a business. Then how do you explain us? Because it's not just me. And again, the trust deficit bigger than the national debt. And people, look, there's 8 billion people on this planet, folks. You're not going to run out. So who do you want to do business with? Somebody who has your back, somebody who trusts, shares values, aligned. You don't have to look over your shoulder, or somebody who may not fit that mold. It's pretty daggum simple. So for me, everything you said was my experience, and we evolved together. Right? It's just like Kevin going, really? That's a movement? I don't know. But look, you guys were right. We were all right. Now it attracted people like Elgin and his crew and the other kindness people. I mean, look at it. Boom. Right? It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm not going to get on and on because I already did that. But we got a million reasons why we can't. And if you're listening out there on the fence, folks, and you have a passion and you keep pushing it down, but it keeps popping up like whack-a-mole, give me one reason why you can. That's what I want. That's the challenge, because I can give 50 million reasons I can't and couldn't. Why can't you? Because when you do, who knows? You can start a kindness movement or something that gravity, right? Or maybe it's a small impact. Maybe you're building your own dreams and goals, right? Make it 80K in your own business, right? Maybe you change that trajectory for your family. So define success for yourself. That's my best advice. Open yourself up, because there's none of the things that I have and the hounds have. We didn't do that by advertising and DMing people that don't want to be bothered. Everything I got today was an introduction for someone who knew, like, and trust me and knew that I can help someone else. That's it. If I would have went and bothered that person, they'd have pepper sprayed me over Zoom, Elgin. Right? And they used to. But now, hey, you got to meet Mike. You got to meet Mike, right? And then we sit down and we know, hey, there's a reason we're together, right? And that sounds corny, but whatever. I mean, this works. And all the people in the chat know that. So let me ask you, because, we talk about the we, not me approach a lot. We just did. So why is the mindset shift so essential for sustainable change when it comes to building a business, organization, or entrepreneurship? Michael?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to unpack, Mike, as you know, but let me start with this. The term ecosystem, hijacked from the natural biosphere, right? Applied to business or whatever you want to apply the ecosystem to. I have a friend named Paolo Gregory who, he's bringing a startup to market that actually, is a gameplay environment that turns dominoes on its ear, right? And how do you win at dominoes? You utterly destroy your opponent's asset base and you win completely versus their loss, right? So the new game is you cannot play the best game of Kohado unless you play as co-opponents and not opponents, right? It's a scoring game, but unless you flip your pieces over and share your assets with the group, you're not going to get the best score, because it's no way possible if you don't know what each other has. So, when he shared that concept with me, and, might want to get him on the show as well, but like this concept of ecosystem, not ego system, right? How many ecosystems have you run into in your business world or your personal world, right? Where somebody pretends like they're leaning in back on you and then it doesn't manifest. I think a lot of people are done with that. And a lot of people are finding that the, collaborative component approach, minimize waste and maximize your assets together. That's the tagline of Paolo's idea. I think that is what this kindness ecosystem is all about. And, it does take someone to kind of raise that flag up. You for hounds, Kevin for kindness, Elgin, Ely, and Randy for telling the stories of kindness through the factor. And you've got to invite people in. So, any good business needs a call to action, right? So we've been talking about that for a long time. We wanted it to feel right when we wanted to hammer down on that, hit the accelerator. And, this moment, now that Elgin has captured this story so eloquently, feels right that everybody is ready for this. And, just the title of the film, For Such a Time as This, was so fitting for where we feel this is going. And we want everybody, all the hounds and everybody else, to find a way to relate to this. And I think the stories that Elgin crystallized in this first, deep dive are super relatable on so many levels.
Oh yeah. And I want you and Elgin, if you'd like to, Elgin, chime in. On that note, how can small businesses, local leaders, big companies, all the above, how can they plug in? Because Kindness Week is November 8th. It's going to be here like no time, right? So how can they plug in and practically be a part of Kindness Week, or even this larger ecosystem of kindness worldwide?
I would like to kick that one back to Binko. I think he can answer it a little better than
I was trying to pick on him first. I may have misspoke. Yeah. Michael. Yeah. Elgin's like, what are you doing, man? Ask me movie questions. Right.
Yeah, I like Deborah's blinders on Binko. I think that's mean you just gotta stay focused. Yeah, that'd be myopic, but you gotta stay focused on the prize. So our anchor initiatives have been Kindness Week, certainly, and that's now taken on a amplification of its own. The film, I think, is right now it's the long pole in the tent initiative wise. And we teased a little bit with Miss Pennsylvania and some of the other ambassadors, but we needed something that would round out the rest of the year. Like Kindness Week is a year. We have a couple months running into it, a couple months coming out of it. But, we want to celebrate the stories of kindness all year round and allow anybody to participate in this. So a concept that we're going to be unveiling, we'll give you guys a tease on this here with the Hound, Running with the Hounds, is the Champions of Kindness is going to be something that we really want to invite you guys and your network and your ecosystem to celebrate yourself and the others around you that are heart-centered and doing acts of kindness. And obviously, we encourage you to post that on the social handles of yourself and Kindness Worldwide and others. But just like the citations that the police department are doing, it's their way to go out in the community and get it done. And I would say if you feel that your community is already doing it or should be doing it, a Kindness Week is not difficult to get the first version going. We've got some playbooks and best practices around that. You're going to bring stuff to us that we never thought of, and we want to amplify that as well with resources. So, and once again, if you're not in a position to roll up your sleeves and do it yourself, but you have the means to support the folks that can, we really want you to be thinking about how can I be involved in that sustainability and intention behind this model and this movement.
Absolutely. And on that note, because, it's coming up quick, people want to be a part of this. So how can people everywhere take part? And also, what are some creative ways that local communities can get involved? So what are some ideas that folks listening and might watch this live? How can they get involved with this?
Yeah. So, I think, the kindness cards are probably the easiest thing. Like we can print up thousands of those cards and ship them out to anybody who wants to kind of activate their community. And the cards are three different cards that have three different messages. It's like, be the good, right? I'm going to be the good, or be the good. And then, when you see it, hand the card off to someone and say, I see the good in you, right? And then go the extra mile. When, somebody does something really extra special for you, that's what those cards are about. We were surprised how quickly the local law enforcement community reacted to our suggestion that they give out kindness citations. Like
that's huge.
You would have thought they'd have been, nah, that's not us. We protect and serve. Well, boy, did they deliver and got out on the street and did it. And I think an ecosystem partner like law enforcement that's looking for a better way to engage with the community, it's an easy outreach to them through their public servant office and the ombudsman. And if that you start with your own activity and get your police department involved, they are connected to everybody in your network.
Absolutely. And it could be as simple, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. It could be as simple as reposting, right? Sharing, sending a DM. Here's the perspective. You're not trying to sell kindness. You share kindness. And the same thing with this movement. We're not selling this. This is one of those things where people come up and they see that and go, I'm all about that, right? It's just like the other organizations we support. We don't go pushing that on people. When people see it, they have a personal resonance. They're drawn to it. So don't be shy to share it, text it to family, friends, put it out in a message, share it with your communities, church, whatever. right? The worst they can say is no. I've heard no before. I don't care about that. But what if they say yes? And it's a visibility issue. We're not selling kindness. They just don't know it exists. And that's why this is so powerful. Yeah, that's why we're doing documentaries. That's why we have these amazing, individuals all across the globe as ambassadors. That's why the Hounds 1000% support. Even Colleen Stubbs, right? Like, she's a power partner in the Hounds. Oh, she's going to be calling me already. Well, I've introduced you to. So boom, right? And so I didn't have to sell that. I said, hey, there's two amazing people that can do much greater things together. And that's simple as that.
Mike, if you're bringing a business out in the market, you're worried about your brand affinity, right? And, what better movement or product to kind of have your brand aligned with than, bringing kindness to your community at whatever level you can support. And it's going to be good for business, right? I think our first supportive financial sponsor, Giant grocery stores, it was something that they just felt was right and brand aligned. And, I think that once you start letting people know that you're bringing the product of kindness and celebrating it in your community where it already exists and amplifying it, and then also trying to cultivate new seeds in the ecosystem, folks are going to lean in, and you got to be comfortable with kind of taking the lead before they do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame Elgin. Elgin, did you hit my mute button? No. All right.
I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't do it again. But it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If we send this out and people don't, have a resonation, or it's the wrong time, or they don't vibe with it, we don't go hounding you. We don't go bothering you. This is all about, hey, I saw that. I want to be a part of that. How do I drip into it? So again, share it, post it. I post it in the Hounds all the time. Nobody boos kindness. Come on, that's but they don't have to. I don't chase them around, but a lot of people are drawn to it, and that's so the easiest thing is to go share it. Also, I'm going to say it because the man's too humble. He spends his own resources. Kevin doesn't ask for much, and but I'm going to ask on his behalf because we need resources. There's grandiose things that are even bigger than what we've already accomplished. He wants to help other organizations, right? That there's a lot of funding cuts and a lot of things out there, and it's challenging. So this has the potential to be, a lot of things to amplify even more movements, even more great causes out there. So if folks want to be involved, there's sponsors, corporate, right? Small business, corporate sponsorships available. There's personal donations, right? Tax deductible. And there's many, many ways, right? And getting involved and getting on the radar, that leads to ambassador. I was already happy to be an ambassador. Then when I saw this list on the screen, I was like, holy cow, how did I get on there, man? Like, wow. This
good company to keep there, Mike. You're good company they're keeping as well, man. I mean, your network being activated by the other folks, leaning in on kindness. Like, that's an opportunity for you, but it's also an opportunity for them to kind of amplify their own visibility. So thank you for what you do.
No, it's my pleasure. So again, folks, we talked about this a lot. Kindness Week is coming up. If you want to know more, you can go to kindnessworldwide.org. You can message me. You can send us carrier pigeons, whatever it takes. But we will find the way to plug you in and find a meaningful, practical way that fits you, right? It's not cookie cutter. So, but like I said, we've seen Tracy Ann Palmer, right? Like the stories and the movements behind this, Elgin, unbelievable, my friend. So I'm going to close on 2 questions. All right, Elgin, I'm going to go with you since we have some tech issues. Thank you for sticking in there, man.
I apologize.
No, it's not your fault. It's a live show. It's the joy of it, right? So Kevin loves to use this, and that was the song of Tracy Ann Palmer's single was The Ripple, right? So ripple effect. You've seen this up close. You talked about the onion moments, right? The tearjerkers. So can you share, if not, don't let me overstep, but can you share just one story out of the bazillions out there that personally moved you, even in general? Was there one that stuck out?
Yeah. I mean, all of them did. But I mean, just to jump right on where you were just talking about, the song that's featured in the trailer, Ripple, it's by Tracy Ann Palmer. She was the recipient of an act of kindness that literally saved her life. And she's got, they're all compelling stories. Her story is, it is a tearjerker. It's something that a lot of people will be able to relate to, and it, because of kindness, it has a happy ending. It has a wonderful ending and an inspiring ending. And, again, this film, it's the purpose of this is to shed light on this movement. And that's just one of the stories that is, not only is it going to achieve that, I think, but it's going to save lives, because people are going to relate to these stories, and it's going to help people get through their own issues when they see the power that kindness had in the lives of people who are dealing with the same issues that they were. So Tracy Ann Palmer's story, look out for that one. Saw some questions in the comments about when this is coming out. We're just at the very beginning of the journey. We're submitting to film festivals, so it's not out yet. We will keep you updated. And thank you so much for the kind comments and words. I think that question was from April, but Deborah, Colleen, Baz, just thank you all so much for the wonderful comments, and we love all of you.
Yeah, it's like 8 o'clock for most of them. They don't even care.
Yeah.
Right? They're probably doing the parent thing, cooking dinner, listening
Right.
in. We appreciate you, because everybody is sacrificing something for the greater good here. And that includes you guys for showing up to this, right? That helps the algorithm. It gets more views. There's no laws, even tiny things, man, they compound. So, Elgin, I just want to say thank you, all right, for who you are, what you do, all the kind folks. We pulled some of your comrades up there from the Kindness Factor, and a great people, man. And so many amazing folks.
Great guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And glad we got a chance to show them and spotlight them, because they work behind the scenes. You don't see a lot of them, but boy, they're like worker ants, man.
Randy and Elia, I couldn't do what I do without them. Love those guys. They're my brothers.
Shout out, right? Because we don't want so many people, but these guys, I seen them in the background. It's like, who's back there moving that stuff? It's them, man. So good job, brothers. And so I'm going to close this out with this. I was going to throw you a curveball, but I don't want to get beat up backstage. So
that's okay. I'm ready.
We'll do both. We'll go to Elgin this time, as I picked on Michael all the show. So you both said that this movement isn't about any one person. Boy, Kevin, he says that all the time, and he means it. So it's about all of us. So what is it that you hope that people carry with them after they see this film, or even join the Kindness Week, or all the above? What is that takeaway that you really hope that people take?
I hope that this helps to amplify kindness to the point where it's the norm. It's kindness that drives the media. It's kindness that's, right now you turn on the TV, you turn on, any type of media, it's always the negative stories that are driving everything. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I don't think it was always that way. And what I'd like to see is for us to get to that tipping point where we flip it back around to where kindness is the norm. We hope that, we hope this film will be a big bullhorn to help get us toward that tipping point. That's what
I don't think you have to hope. Honestly, I think y'all are going to be shocked. You probably have this. You like, oh, it'll do this. It'll probably that. I could be wrong. Usually not. All right. So. But again, I know the spirit of it. If it just helps one person, and it's worth it, right? One person at a time.
Absolutely.
But we all know it's going to hit a lot more than one. But but it's not about us. I love the theme. So, Michael, same question to you to close out, my friend. What is it that you want people to carry away with them after they get involved, see the film, and experience it firsthand?
Yeah, really absorb the stories that Elgin captured eloquently, but see yourself as a part of these next chapters, right? And we don't say that in a trite way. Oh yeah, join the movement. No, it literally, and it starts with Kevin at the top. Is he desperately wants others to help write the next chapters, right?
Be a part of the story.
He's exhausted. Yeah. On another level, he's inspired by where it's come and where he knows it's going, right? And I am going to flip it back to you, Mike. Like, you didn't have to take the time to do this as much as you do, but the hounds, benefit from it. They get different perspectives. They get to learn some things. They get to maybe investigate some things they're hearing about, but not, find an easy pathway there. Or it could be a way for them to establish themselves in a community or an ecosystem that they care about or want to be, doing business in, right? So,
exactly.
it doesn't always have to be completely altruistic. It can be a part of your brand presence in your own community. And yes, if you benefit from it, we like to say, do good and do well, right? Because if you do well in your community, you're probably one of the pillars that is helping nonprofits and other communities go forward. And, once again, Kevin's pretty humble about it, but he is one of the most credentialed, wealth advisors on the planet.
You'll make him blush. He gonna watch this
Yeah.
episode. Yep.
Well, but it is something where, he approaches this with, if I can help somebody navigate to a legacy of support in their own community for it, start with their family, themselves, their family, and their community. And then I say, Kevin, while you're at it, let's do a 10x multiplier, right? Like,
Right.
if we can get our communities to have 10x kindness by the next time Kindness Week comes around, we're all doing better. And I think that's where the story of the police department can represent that. And even when, some things happen in a community that aren't favorable, like, you got to keep moving forward and make it. I want others to find a way that they can make it relatable for themselves and their community.
Yeah, it's the glue that holds things together when it should have fell apart. I mean, there's those kind of things that hold things together. We're all going to get challenges. We're going to have disagreements. The hell in the handbasket, all this stuff. But what keeps us going, right? It's not just hope. It's inspiration, right? We know there's going to be sunny days. We know there's going to be some usefulness out of all this mess, chaos, and challenge. And that's what this documentary, in my perspective, really is. It's not saying, and it's not minimizing the world's trouble and the bad things people went in, by no means. But it's not focusing on that negativity all the time, right? Like when we turn the news and all this stuff on. It's also reminding us that, hey, there's a lot of beauty, a lot of good, and a lot of good daggum people out here. Don't forget it, right? And I think you captured it. I didn't get to see more than y'all, so don't feel like I got special, but I cannot wait. Oh, my goodness, cannot wait to see this thing. I know the folks can't wait as well. So, gentlemen, I appreciate you. I want to give a couple shout outs to folks before we go because, again, pushing people up. These are amazing, regular people that are doing amazing things through their organization and business, just like you gentlemen are, just like all the great people from Kindness Worldwide. And we got to give a shout out to Kevin. Very humble guy. He doesn't like us saying it, but dadgummit, I'm going to get you. He spends his time, resources very generously. He does not pivot on it, and it takes time away from his family, his own hobbies, and the man never complains, ever complains, and it's amazing. He's all over the globe. Look, I can't even keep up with him. It's like wearing the world's Carmen Sandiego right here. You can't keep up with him. And he was in Iceland and Portugal, and I just gave up on the map. And he never complains. I know he gets tired sometimes. He's human. And this is why it's not just the movement, it's the strength of leadership. When you have a commissioner like Michael Muldrow, who does the unthinkable, think of how many years. And, this man said, I'm going to stand on principle. And just who he is as a human being is what drove that change. So guys, I'm not over exaggerating anything. You can take me to the bank. I cannot wait to see this because Elgin, if anybody can encapsulate this in the most realist sense, it's you, my friend. So you keep us posted. Promise you, hounds, we will let you know. We will keep you posted. We'll blast it everywhere. Remember, share the post, share it, send it out to people. We need some more real feel good that gets somewhere. All right. We need some positivity that actually matters in this planet. That's what you guys brought to the table. Thank you, Kevin Smith. And gentlemen, we're going to have you back. All right. We're going to have you back very, very soon. So thank you all. And real quick, don't leave. I'll go kick you backstage. Any last minute words y'all want to drop before I let you go? Or?
Love you guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can feel that. He ain't just saying that. Elgin, you love me too, man? Come on, let's make it weird.
Love you, brother.
He said it. Dadgummit. Well, I'll tell you
brother.
what, we got some good short videos coming out of this one, man. I'm going to get it. So we'll blast it out there. But thank you all, everybody behind this. It is truly an honor. I mean, I cannot believe when we connected last year that I would have had the honor and privilege of being a part of this. It's just fantastic and phenomenal. And I don't, again, not preaching, but if I can do it, come on, guys. Look, go out there. The world needs you. Seriously, stop pushing down that story and that capability and that passion. Go out there and dare. Reach for the stars, grab a tree branch. I mean, hell, that's the worst case scenario. Go out there and be who you're meant to be, man. And if you need help with that, shameless plug. No strays
There
out
you
there.
go, man.
Hounds of business.
Everybody loves running with the hounds, Mike. That's going to be my
Right.
new tagline for this.
Yeah, honorary hound, Michael. You're already there at Elgin, man. I mean, you're Elgin Cahill, bro. I mean, you're always the hound, right? So we'll get you little ears and everything soon.
Love it. Love it.
All right, I will see you backstage. I won't keep you long. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Mike.
My pleasure, brother. All right, so real quick, hounds, I got to give the shout out. So we got Kevin Smith, and okay, I'm like Santa Claus. Me and Phil only do these. We got the last one, all right, for the year. Private Zoom training. We are not doing infomercials or bait and switch. We are sitting down and showing you two things: how you, heart-centered, high-level professional, can go out there on and off LinkedIn and social media and attract the type of clients that you're here to serve, right? We're going to teach you that, and then we're going to show you how to amplify that, not just with the Hounds of Business community itself, but the Hounds ecosystem. It's like the Hounds is a great NFL team, but the ecosystem is the NFL itself. Does that make sense? So we're making things affordable and accessible. Come as you are, all right, and become your best self through this process. That's Friday, October 24th, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Do not miss it. There's limited seats. We got plenty right now. I'm not going to lie. I don't do that weirdness, but may not be soon. So I love these. I really enjoy sitting there, and the feedback I get, that's it. People are like, I got clarity. I know I can do this. And now they're in this comfort zone where they can go find what they need, scale up, and not give up. We wonder, well, why is cancer not getting better? Why is this thing not? Because the people who have the passion to do it don't. That's where we step in. So join me, find it on LinkedIn. I'll put it on the YouTube when we repost it, or just reach out. All right. Last but not least, you're going to see a lot of these hounds. All right. Curtis Rivers, Hollywood stuntman turned soul guide, have a dream life, dream career, and left it because he wanted to be happy. Yeah, that's who we roll with. I'm not the only one in the house, right? So this man is all heart. I've heard hound after hound talk about their experience with him. Reach out, have a conversation. He's got free resources. But if you're struggling or you're just going through life changes, don't do it alone. It's like going to Appalachian Trail by yourself, right? You're going to fall off the cliff and get eaten by a bear. Find a guide who's been there and done that you can trust, and really have that conversation with him. One of the most biggest hearted, realest guys I've ever met in my life. Appreciate you being a hounds, brother. And you're going to see this guy because guess what? Holidays. Yeah. Oh man. All of our discipline kind of goes in the toilet, right? So this is the most practical guy. I'm not going to get into his story, but we pulled a bunch of hounds together several months ago, tested his program. And well, if it didn't work, we wouldn't be showing it, right? So, but it did work. And boy, I struggle with this. So we're going to have the one and only David Mineski. He's going to come out with Jaded Health 42. He loves to do corporate wellness workshops as well. So he's good for business as well as personal one-on-one. But his community, folks, is insane. Absolutely dirt cheap. I'm trying to get him to add zeros. He won't do it yet. No kidding. So plug into this. He is a power partner with us, Life 42 community. This is the most practical, easy to follow, and it accounts for the brain because we know we eat better and not overeat and all that. But why don't we do it? He understands it. All right. His doctor said, get out of here. You're fat. You're not listening. Find a new doctor. So then he gets healthy. He goes, researches it, and climbs Mount Kilimanjaro in his 60s. That's the kind of guy I read about. So, and I think we're done. Healing for wounds. Guys, if you're in healthcare clinics or anything else, reach out to this lady. This is innovative. People in the medical community are all about it. And she is doing good work for people who are suffering needlessly, to be honest. So there's lots there. Go check out Healing for Wounds. They do way more than just this. But thank you, Beverly Neal Clinton, for your support, making this possible, and let's get out here, okay? And so that's it, folks. Love you guys completely. You know, I'm just some dude in a camo hat taking a walk. If it wasn't for you guys making this dream a reality, and I don't say that flippantly, thank you for showing up because the world sees what we're doing. We're not the only option, but for some people, we truly are, right? And so thank you for all the support you guys give us. We will see you Friday at the private training, and we will see you next week. Oh, man, who do I got? You know it's going to be great. Don't worry about it. I'll put it on LinkedIn. And so go out there and follow your dreams. Stop making excuses. Plug in. Reach out to somebody. and get down to it. Life's worth living. Start living it fully, folks. Be good. See you on the next one. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.